The first mistake happened in the empty silence of deep space. No alarm, no warning, no message. Just a small red dot that appeared on the border of human territory. At first, it looked like a tiny ship drifting without power. But inside the human defense network, every sensor woke up at the same time. The system did not panic. It only whispered one line across all command stations. Unknown vessel detected inside restricted space. Commander Reyes, watching from the orbital station, leaned forward. He knew one thing very well: no one enters human space by accident. The borders were marked in every star map. The warnings were sent in every language. Anyone crossing them knew the risks. Far away, the invading fleet moved slowly, unaware of what followed them. Their leader, Captain Vortis, laughed as his ships broke formation. He believed humans were weak, quiet, isolated. He thought Earth was just another soft world waiting to be controlled. But he made one mistake. He thought humans repeat their warnings as the fleet approached deeper into human territory. The stars around them grew strangely still. No traffic, no radio messages, no resistance, only silence. A heavy, unnatural silence. Vortis thought it was fear. But Commander Reyes saw something else. Human ships were not rushing to attack. They were not sending threats. They were simply watching, waiting, calculating every move of the enemy fleet in the dark shadows of a nearby moon. A massive human dreadnought powered up quietly. Its engines stayed cold, but its weapons hummed like a sleeping giant waking up. Reyes whispered to his officers, "Mark every ship." No warnings. Earth already gave those years ago. It was at this moment, quiet, calm, and deadly, that the invaders made their first mistake. They assumed humans talked. Twice they were wrong. Captain Vortis sat proudly in his command chair as his fleet crossed deeper into human space. His sensors showed nothing dangerous: no fleets, no guards, no patrols, only the silent darkness of space. To him, silence meant weakness. But to humans, silence was a choice. On the human dreadnought, Resolute, Commander Reyes watched the invaders move like sharks entering a forbidden ocean. His officers waited for orders, but Reyes kept his eyes sharp and calm. Humanity had one rule that every species learnt the hard way: do not cross the line. And that line had been crossed. Deep inside the dreadnought, hundreds of automated systems activated. Missile bays unlocked. Rail cannons heated. Stealth wings were released into the void like shadows slipping between stars. None of this was visible to the enemy. Not yet. Meanwhile, the invading fleet celebrated. Their scans showed no human ships, no defenses, no signals. Captain Vortis laughed loudly. See, humans abandoned this space. Weak creatures. But his second-in-command, Rukal, felt something wrong. The silence was too perfect. Space was not this empty. No dust, no debris. No haju? Noisy. As if the void itself was holding its breath. He whispered, "Captain, I think we passed something important." Vortis ignored him. He wanted glory. He ordered every ship to spread out and begin scanning for human colonies. At that exact moment, Reyes received the confirmation he was waiting for. "Sir," an officer said quietly, "the enemy just crossed the red boundary." Reyes stood up. His face was calm, but his voice turned cold. "Activate Phase 1, no contact. No second warning." Across the darkness, human ships unmasked themselves, silent giants, appearing like ghosts behind the invaders. Captain Vortis never saw them come. He had crossed the line humans warned about, and now humanity would answer without hesitation. The invading fleet spread across human space like a net, searching for settlements to conquer. Captain Vortis believed victory was already his. His ships moved with confidence, engines bright, weapons armed but relaxed. They thought they were hunters, but the hunters did not know. They had already become the prey. Behind a drifting asteroid field, 3 human stealth cruisers glided without sound. Their hulls absorbed light. Their engines hid their heat. Even the stars behind them seemed to bend. No alien scanner detected them. No alien pilots sensed them. Commander Reyes watched the enemy ships splitting apart. "Good," he whispered. "Let them scatter. It makes the hunt easier." On Vortis's flagship, the uneasy second-in-command, Rukul kept feeling something wrong. He scanned again and again, but the screens showed nothing. Too perfect. Too clean. An empty space this deep was unnatural. "Captain, the humans are not fleeing," Rukul warned. "This feels like a trap." But Vortis only smirked. "Humans are insects. Their silence means fear." He didn't know the silence was designed then. It began. A small enemy frigate flew near an asteroid. For a moment, everything looked normal until the rock itself unfolded. It wasn't a rock, it was a cloaked human strike ship, a bright flash, a single railgun shot. The frigate disappeared from every screen, no explosion. Just a silent, clean erasure. Rukul jumped from his chair. "Captain, one of our ships..." Vortis stared. Impossible. No weapon is that quiet. But more signals vanished. One by one, ships disappeared like droplets sinking into the ocean. No alarms, no warnings, no enemy voices, only quiet destruction. Reyes finally spoke over the human comnet. "Targets confirmed. Continue silent hunt. Leave no trace." Panic spread in the invading fleet. They realized something terrifying. Humans weren't fighting back. Humans were hunting. And they hunted silently. The battlefield had become a graveyard without bodies. Ships vanished before anyone could scream. Screens flickered with red alerts, but no attackers were ever shown. The invading fleet was dying in total confusion. On the bridge of the flagship, Captain Vortis finally felt something he never expected. Fear. Rukul stood stiff, his voice shaking. "Sir, we are being hunted. I request full retreat." But Vortis refused. His pride was stronger than his fear. "No, we stay. Find the humans. Show them our power." But the humans were already watching. Inside the human dreadnought Resolute, Commander Reyes studied the enemy panic. Everything was going exactly as planned. The humans had not released their full power yet. This was only Phase 1 silent elimination. "Proceed to Phase 2, Reyes ordered. Across the dark void, hidden human drones activated. They glowed faint blue, forming a perfect sphere around the invaders. Each drone carried weapons strong enough to carve a cruiser in half, and they all pointed inward. Meanwhile, Captain Vortis finally tried sending a message to the humans. "This is Captain Vortis of the Dravix Empire. We crossed your space by mistake. We demand a discussion." No answer, only silence, and that silence felt like death. Then the lights on his bridge dimmed. Every system froze. The entire flagship shook, as if grabbed by an invisible hand. Rukul whispered in horror, "Sir, something is boarding us." Vortis turned pale. "Boarding us how?" "We sealed everything." But outside the flagship window, tiny shadows moved. They weren't ships. They weren't robots. They were something else. Something fast. Something precise. Something human-made. Reyes watched it all calmly. "They want to know who dared enter human space," he said. "Let them meet the ones who do not repeat warnings." On the enemy flagship, doors began to open. Slowly. Quietly. And the invaders finally understood. This was not a battle. This was judgment. The air inside the enemy flagship turned cold as the lights flickered. Every soldier on board froze, their weapons raised, their hearts pounding. They had trained for war. They had studied alien tactics. But nothing prepared them for this. A soft metallic click echoed down the hallway. Then another. Then silence. Rukul stepped back, terror in his eyes. "Captain, whatever entered this ship, it's inside our walls." Captain Vortis gripped his weapon tightly. Sweat dripped down his forehead. For the first time in his life, he wished he had never stepped into human space. A long shadow appeared at the end of the corridor, thin, tall, and unmoving. It wasn't a person. It wasn't armor. It looked like a hologram made of shifting blue light. Then more shadows appeared behind it. They weren't here to negotiate. Inside the Resolute. Commander Reyes monitored every signal. He watched the human infiltration units enter the enemy flagship with silent precision. These weren't soldiers, these were Spectre units, special forces trained for zero-noise operations. Few outsiders even knew they existed. Reyes whispered, "Mark their leader. Bring him alive." Back on the flagship, Vortis fired in panic. The blue figure didn't even flinch. The shot passed through it harmlessly. It was a decoy projection. But behind Vortis, a real figure appeared. Silent as a ghost, a gloved human hand tapped his shoulder. Vortis turned slowly. Too slowly. A human soldier stood there, armored in matte black, no light reflecting from the suit. No face visible. Only one symbol glowed on the chest, a single red line. The border Vortis crossed. "You made the first mistake," the soldier said calmly through his helmet's speaker. "And humans don't warn twice." Vortis dropped his weapon. His voice cracked. "What do you want?" The soldier leaned closer. "Your fleet." Outside the flagship, every alien ship suddenly lost power. Engines dead, weapons offline. Drifting like leaves in winter, humanity had taken control. The invading fleet floated helplessly in the quiet darkness. Every engine was dead. Every weapon offline. Every control system locked by human command codes. The fleet that once entered human space with pride now drifted like captured animals. Inside the flagship, Captain Vortis stood surrounded by Spectre units. His crew knelt with their hands over their heads. No one dared to move. No one dared to breathe loudly. The human silence had become more terrifying than any weapon. Commander Reyes appeared on the flagship's main screen, steady, completely in control. "Captain Vortis," he said, "your invasion is over." Vortis swallowed hard. We request mercy." Reyes didn't smile. He didn't threaten. He just spoke with a cold truth. Humanity gave its warning 100 years ago. We said anyone entering this space would not get a second one. He stepped closer to the camera. "You ignored that warning. Now you answer for it." The Spectre units placed a small device on the floor. Blue lights rose around the prisoners, scanning them. "We will not destroy you," Reyes continued, "but your empire will learn what happened here. You will return with a message." The device beeped. Instantly, every captured alien felt a burning mark appear on their armor, glowing red line. The same symbol on the Spectre's armor. "This mark," Reyes said, "identifies you as violators of human territory. Anyone who sees it will know you crossed the forbidden line, and survived only because we allowed it." Vortis trembled. "Why? Why let us live?" Reyes's voice became colder. "So the galaxy remembers the rule. Humans only warn once." With a wave of his hand, Reyes ordered the invaders' ships powered just enough for retreat. The humans vanished from sensors as fast as they had appeared. The invading fleet fled without looking back. The message spread across every star system: never enter human space.